This is the 8-9 Combo.
This is the 8-9 Combo. I'm Brett McKay. This is Harry Jones. Hi, mate. How are you?
How's it, Brett? We are about an hour north of San Francisco on a beach
Again.
with a lagoon behind it. And we are walking up and down. And today we did family yoga, which is great because my daughter got to see and be hilariated by my version of warrior pose, down dog, and my plank. There's nothing like self-deprecation to start your day, puts you in your place. And the only thing you're worried about is Snapchat. Because like how many Snapchatters have now seen me doing my pigeon?
I can imagine a good chunk at your daughter's college.
I don't have a good pigeon. I'll just confess that right now.
Who does?
I got a hell of a plank though. Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. What are you in cheers to around the rugby world this weekend? Or what's left of it anyway?
Yeah, the cheers is we're watching one of the great teams in rugby history. It's difficult when you're in the moment because I think instead of recentism, I think most of us sports fans have nostalgism. So we love to celebrate the ghosts of the wonderful legends of the game. But actually, in my mind, it's pretty obvious that between the Steve Hansen-led 2010 to 2018 All Blacks and the Rassie Erasmus-led 2019 to current and possibly 27 Boks, probably the professional era, which I think is where the best teams are, which makes sense, are really having a ding-dong battle, these back-to-back teams. And it's almost like it's in the balance. And what we got to see in this recent tour was maybe the triumph of depth. And I know that the Wallabies have exactly the opposite of that. Yeah.
No doubt.
And I think in the professional game, as you get further and further into it with the tactical acumen, the team of coaches, you look at the team of coaches around the box and you see where they're able to win, how they're able to win. Ireland as well, for a long time they did. You just start to marvel at it. And it's really interesting. It's a great, to me, it's where the game has become fully professional, where the top 9 teams can all beat each other on any given day. Wasn't true back in 2015. You had maybe 3 or 4 that could maybe, and you had a lot of teams that had never beaten someone. So I think I guess I'm saying is the rise of parity, cheers, but also a team that's risen above just by the shoulders, not the head and shoulders, but just a little bit. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. I have triple cheers for you. Triple cheers with a twist. My first one is this: Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu, and you'll enjoy this. Scored his 9th test try on the weekend against Wales. And that was enough to rank him number 1 for tries scored by Springboks fly half. So we went above Pollard, well ahead of Mornay Stain, Nas Botha, Joel Scrancy, all of them, all gone against them. He scored his 9th try. He scored his first test try in September. And that little tidbit is courtesy of Jared Wright on the Twitter.
Talk about a strike rate for a number 10. That's a bit weird.
Oh, incredible, isn't it? Incredible.
Yeah.
Cheers number 2. You might be familiar with English lock Sam Jeffries, plays for Suntory in Japan, where this year he's been joined by Australian lock Sam Jeffries, spelt exactly the same. Can you imagine that? 2 Sam Jeffries in the same team, 2 white guys.
We have to get to the bottom of how they are distinct, what their Japanese nicknames are.
Indeed, I know someone to ask about that. My third cheers, I'm holding off for our guest because he will definitely like it, and we have got another great rugby chat coming up in just a second. But please, mate, as we edge very, very close to 11,000 subscribers on YouTube, we could get there for Christmas. Tell us why we need people to hit the button.
Well, you should, because this is an example. This actual episode, there's someone that's on the, I don't know what you call it, but the introduction and the out production of our pod is on the pod. So it's one of those things where there's a TV inside a TV inside a TV. You can hear this man talking, and you can hear him again. I mean, what other pod does that? I'm not aware of any. Maybe we're like top 2 in that one. So there's things like there's stats and then there's stats. That's a great stat. We're like one of the best pods that ever had that.
No one does niche stats like us. No.
Yeah.
I'm quite confident on that. So if you are watching on YouTube and you haven't, hit the red button down there in the bottom corner. If you're on any of the pod platforms, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it happens to be, you know what it is, and help us get us there for Christmas. International Rugby Year is all over and the reviews are underway. The postmortems have been done. The celebrations have started, but the rugby year is not quite over for this week's guest, who comes to us from the Seventh Circuit in Cape Town via Dubai for the final time this year. Please welcome back to the 8-9 Combo, Sean Maloney. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Man, I'm well. It's always hard to beat a triple cheese with a twist, but I'd like to add something, if I may. The fact that we had Australia v New Zealand, and New Zealand for the first time ever in the Gold Cup games of an HSBC Sevens World Series event last weekend in Dubai was awesome, and felt so good to have that series off and running again. It was a beauty in the desert where, well, kind of sadly New Zealand won both those games, but what a way to get it started.
This is your first jump back on the Seventh Circuit for a little while?
Yeah, it has been a while. So obviously now with the conflict with Sevens running at the same time as Super Rugby and even some of those internationals at the back end of the year, it hasn't been easy to manage. So I do obviously the Aussie League every time it rolls into Perth or Sydney, but it's so good, fellas. It's so good being back on the tour. It's awesome. It really is. And now with this reduced 8-team and 8-team setup before they expand for the last 3 leagues, man, it's fun. It's kind of where it all started.
Excellent. Very good. Well, the third cheers you will like, because the ball boy for the men's Dubai Sevens final between Australia and New Zealand runs onto the field, delivers the ball to Australia's Maurice Longbottom. Then as he's running off, proceeds to pull a Springboks jersey from out of under his shirt, waved it around his head, to which the commentator of the day said, Sean Maloney,
yeah, that's cheeky.
Say? That's cheeky.
I said, that's cheeky. How good was it though? I thought it might have been, because there are a lot of expat English people that are living in Dubai, obviously, but to see the box jersey get ripped out I was like, yeah, respect, young man, respect. Yeah. That's awesome. Your team got bounced out earlier in the day, but the big team had beaten Wales overnight by a record score, so massive respect.
Yeah, and I just respect the amount of planning and covert work that he had to do to get the jersey up under the shirt. And how am I just going to rip it out? Like, he's gone above and beyond there.
It's like it's WWE styles. He's like proper heel. The little man was a proper heel.
You can imagine him right now telling the story 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and whipping out the footage and showing the guys in the pub.
Oh yeah.
No, huge, so good.
It's done the rounds already. There's no question about that. I reckon we just get into this chat. We're going to come to it from a SANZAAR Rugby Championship angle. How do we just want to sum up the Autumn Nations November Spring Tour tests for each country? Does that sound fair? That's the way to wrap this up, isn't it? We'll work in acronym order. So we'll start with South Africa. Harry, how do you want to wrap it up? We'll let you go.
Well, it's always difficult in the middle when you're the champ and you're the number one and everyone's gunning for you. You have this kind of tendency to say, no, we got to keep it. And then you end up just naming the same team over and over. I think that's what Ireland did to their detriment in some of the mid cycles. New Zealand also, I think right about now, is being a bit too conservative. I think Rassi went the other way and he said, I'm going to acculturate the fan base that we're going to do strange things. I mean, it obviously caught us up. It caught us really badly at Ellis Park in some ways, and there was one other posting up. But in the main, when you just get the fan base used to, no one's getting dropped. No one got dropped. You just got shuffled, and they said no one's going to play more than 8 tests. Nobody. It doesn't matter who you are, what kind of legend you are. So you're going to not play 7 of the 15. I think that was the triumph here, is just and keeping certain portfolios like the scrum high, even if you're Boan Fenter, who no one had on their list, and he's swimming against the French. So I think it was a triumph of the the shuffle, Shawnee. It's like, I think it's a very tough thing for a coach to pull off, and just about did it. Just about did it. And you could always look at one game or two games and say, no, you should have done something else. But I think that's allowed other coaches to think differently next year, maybe.
What a disgusting embarrassment of riches that man has,
Yeah.
even at number 10. Like you go Pollard, who never misses, who can kick you to a victory, Labot, who I'm a huge fan of, and then Feinberg and Gomazulu, who is, I reckon, potentially going to end up being one of the greatest Test 10s ever. He's that talented. It's like, come on, man, come on. They were. I mean, they're unbelievable. They are so good.
It's a really good point that Harry makes though about teams, dipping in between cycles, and it's like it's got to be the amount of management and planning and all that to go in and keep that level in between World Cups is actually quite incredible.
There's actually a coach on the coaching staff that's all he does. I don't know, like you go to like a doctor's specialist of this and specialized, and there's one doctor that just manages all the doctors. Like, does it all make sense? So there's a guy on the staff, I forgot his name, he's a redheaded guy, and he's just got a spreadsheet all the time. He's a bit like you, Brett, and he's literally down to the minute, and it uses GPS, and they are just committed to not overplaying any player. I think Michael Marks probably got a little bit overplayed, but everyone else, it was just platoon city. And Tony, you're right about Sasha. He's playing number 10 differently. You know how in some sports you redefine a position? And it looks like to me that he's playing 10 a very weird way. He's making lots of mistakes too, but he's 23 years old. So imagine what he's like when he's 27. He's seen more. It's going to be devastating,
Yeah. Imagine what he's going to be like, Shawnee, in 6 years' time with 2 World Cups under his belt.
I'd kind of prefer not to as a Wallabies fan. I don't really want to envisage what that looks like.
That's
anyways.
fair.
He's good. Oh, he's good.
Yeah. The idea that you could that you could get the viewing public and fans used to the idea of not every guy is going to play every test. That's the embarrassment of riches. That's something you're doing because you can, essentially.
Yeah, and it's also the adaptation of styles. So I think there's a certain cadre, I'll just call them old South Africa, that has a certain DNA they wish to see, and any tiny reverse in Tony ball, let them go. Got to have Pollard back, get Faf back in there, and let's kick and chase. And you have to resist that and say, hold on, Ellis Park was real, and you pulled our pants down and spanked us pretty mightily, but let's press on. And then there was Wellington. And then there was, and just keep going. It's difficult to pull off, I think.
Who's going to stop him, Sean?
Oof, that's a good question. You're looking at Gibbs. It's funny. I was actually discussing that tour that's coming next year with some of the locals over here in Cape Town today, and they're already looking ahead to that, right? So they've already got their eyes firmly fixed on the All Blacks coming across here. That's next year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this big tour,
three test tour,
so they'll get a really good taste of that through next year, but I can't see anyone traveling through that next round of test matches in July as part of the inbound Autumn Nations rugby. What are we calling it? The
What do you call it?
What's
Nations
it called?
Championship?
The thing, the Nations Championship. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's getting close to them through that period of time. So it might just be the All Blacks to the benefit of those 3 games under the belt. But what blows me away is I feel like that there's always an angle, or there's always sort of some gamesmanship to everything they do. There's a part of me that feels like that win against Ireland. I don't think in that sort of second 40, I feel like they were holding a little bit back. I don't know why. I just felt like there was another level or a gear that they could have potentially got to if they really wanted to, given the way they'd created all those issues for Ireland with the cards and the rest of it. So it just feels like they're always shifting pawns and bishops and what else they called HA, like rooks down the edges, all that sort of stuff.
Straight. I think that's true, Shawnee. I mean, there was something personal about that win, which was, we're coming to your backyard, there's a barbecue or a braai, and we want to beat you up in front of your brothers and uncles and cousins, and
then we're going to play with you,
and we don't really really want to just keep running out to the corners. We want to just get down here in the mud and wrestle. And being there and being surrounded only by Irish fans, we were just, I mean, there was sort of a guy you could touch over there and over there, bok. But overall, it was just a sour feeling. And I think they wanted that. I think they wanted to create a quiet Aviva. It was just kind of miserable. Everyone was miserable for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
Mind games. Yeah.
Where's the improvement, Harry, then in 2026 for the Boks? What's the next step?
The lineouts wasn't solid. There was a big drop off when Ruan Nortje was calling it, and then when you had anyone else calling it, Lewitt, Archie, it didn't seem to function right. They were always going to the front and the middle, which is difficult. Strangely enough, in the final two matches, they were going over the top all the way to the back and was working fine. So, but that's a portfolio way behind the scrum. The scrum would be A, lineout C. The other thing probably is getting everyone used to the idea of Tony Brown ball, which is every man an attack weapon, 15 attackers on the field at all times. Props have to be able to do a dummy. They got to move. They got to stick and all that stuff. I think there's still plenty of room there. And finally, it would be a transition defense, which the Wallabies exposed. So the ability to kick a ball, have no shepherds, opposing team, Max Jorgensen catches it. That next 3 meter, that was disorganized, and teams that were able to play off of that caught the Boks napping.
Yeah, it didn't happen very often though, Shawnee. Teams exploiting them at the back.
No, I'm just trying to think the game's actually lost this year. Like, apart from the madness, like you say,
Well, it was only the two. It was Ellis Park
and Eden Park, right?
Yeah.
And Eden Park, the All Blacks played out of their skins, and Artie was enormous over the ball. God, man, I just struggle to even find any chinks in what they do in terms of the arsenal, and they're just a powerhouse. They must be terrifying to play against. Terrifying.
When you have to rely on hubris and overconfidence as a way to bring a team down.
That's the game plan.
Yeah. I think they're getting ahead of themselves. Yeah. So that's where we could beat them. What about
great
New
use
Zealand
of
then?
the word hubris.
Yeah.
What about New Zealand then? You've seen a good chunk of them, called a bit of them this year. What stood out? What concerned you? What did you think of them?
Oh, I mean, haven't they only lost like 3 games all year?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 or 4.
And
It was 3
games.
The 3 games. The problem was that the way they lost those 3 games, or who they lost
Yeah.
them to. So England, they hate that. Argentina, weird, and then the worst loss of the history.
Worst loss, Wellington. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I guess and in each of those, it was those little pockets of the game time where those opposing teams were able to just go bang, 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 because they ran up those points in quick succession, in those big bursts, didn't they? So England was the second half, same with South Africa, and Argentina was pretty much the other side of halftime as well. So that was them clocking off, and as you both know very well, and all your 8-9 combo listeners know, inside out at a test level now, you cannot clock off or you will get barbecued, and that's what they did. But again, like, I know that they've been given such a rough time over in NZ by their media and their fans, but so much what they did this year was really, really excellent as well.
Yeah, the reaction in New Zealand has been interesting to view from afar, Harry, hasn't it?
I think it's that Razor hasn't made the emotional connection with the public.
Yeah.
I don't think that the results, I mean, most teams would swap that result, right? Give me 3 losses. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
It's that there hasn't been this visceral connection that Shag Hansen had, Graham Henry had. And I don't know what that is. Part of it could be a personality. There's a weirdness to Razor. I'm not trying to be mean, but it just kind of doesn't come off like the old cop that Steve Hansen was, that could kind of just be affable. The other thing is there's probably just, there's people like Martin Devlin and guys like that, Tony Johnson, Jimmy Wall, that don't like the fact that he's not taking more chances, like more opportunities to do something different. It's just sticking with the same old, that they're worried. Well, so who's our Sasha? Who's our guy that comes out of nowhere? Why are we always just Bowden Barrett? Why is it why is it so many Barretts? And I think if he could bring some of that, even if they lost a few, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the issue. But like you
Yeah.
said, Shawnee, it's still a good year. It's a fine season.
Yeah, we're not really used to New Zealand being super conservative, are we? But that's what it kind of feels like this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a game plan that works, but I just don't know if they're featuring the guys like Wallace Titi properly. But Shawnee says it's right. They actually won most games. If you said how much of the game did you win, they kind of won all of them. But they had great hour, but they had bad 20 minutes in those three games. Just terrible 20 minutes.
And then it was a matter of where the 20 minutes was. Was it the first 20 minutes? Was it the 10 minutes inside of halftime? Was it the last 20 minutes? Like last year, it was the last 20 minutes. But this year, it moved around a bit, didn't it? It would pop up in the weirdest part of games. Did it feel to you guys like they kind of stumbled onto some combinations that they probably need to stick with going forward?
I reckon that team pretty much. Oh man, when you think like the nine, so nine's one of the first picks.
Yeah, easy.
The difference between Roygaard and the rest, though, is fairly significant.
Yeah, but I guess the same could be said for a lot of other top tier levels where your best is your best, and then I guess there's a bit of indecision around 10. The back three sort of pick themselves. Do you reckon it's that hard picking All Blacks team? It can't be that hard.
No, it's no, the easiest job in the world. But like it feels like start of the year they were really keen to get Billy Proctor in there, and there was a little bit of talk about playing Lester Fainganuku at 13. And then by the end of it, Quinn Tupaia sticks his hand up, and everyone's going, "Well, why wasn't he playing 13 6 weeks ago?" And then he switches to 12. Last two games. How many did Geordie Barrett miss?
Yeah, and I think Quinn Tupaia was a point of difference. I think he just ran it so straight, and he runs that inside line as well. I suppose for me, it's every country seems to have that one thing they cannot replace. For the Wallabies, it's that 10 Larkham. I think Jerome Kano, the shadow of him, still very high. It's very long, and at times it was Simon. At times it was Tupou Vaa'i moving over there. It just didn't feel like there's still that guy who makes you scared. And I just feel like if I could put one thing on it is New Zealand, the All Blacks were not sexy enough and they were not scary enough. And an All Blacks team is usually sexy and scary, And I think if you're missing both of those concepts, it's a bit of a trial. And then I think you're right, Shawnee. It's about this 10 thing as well. Of how do you want to play? Like, how do you want to play this game? And they are doing so many rucks. They are building. Our friend Hugh Griffin talks about how many rucks the All Blacks require, how much ball they need to have to score. It's they don't score quickly like the French and the Boks or England.
The other thing that I'd be a little concerned about as well if I was a supporter of any team outside of New Zealand is that they're now like sneakily building experience amongst a lot of those guys. So by the time we hit 2027 in Australia, a lot of those guys who are sort of in and around now will have sort of 30 tests, somewhere between 30 and 40, which puts him in that, real sweet bracket where you go, oh shit, yeah, that's right. This guy's actually really, really good. So there might be a couple of teething issues now. And again, I can't believe we're even saying because they've only lost 3 games all year. But by the time they hit 27, man, those guys are going to be like fully accomplished and ready to rip heads off in Australia.
It feels like there's a holding pattern around Beauden Barrett. It feels like he's there just keeping the chair warm for Moana. And that's the game plan going forward. They've put no love into Ruben Love, no love into Brett Cameron, those young guys.
And it feels like in every country's fan base, the 10 decision occupies the most oxygen. So they get inordinate praise and they get too much blame. And I feel like that's happening in New Zealand. I don't think Beauden Barrett had a bad season, but everything he did wrong gets listed on the talk shows and the call-in shows. I think you're right. Fabian Holland, the guys like that, these young guys coming up, absolutely great signs. Wallace Hatiti, got to be one of the best players to come out of nowhere. And they put him on the bench now. So I think that's good. I think having a really strong, organized bomb squad and focusing on what you end the game with as opposed to who you start with.
Well, and we touched on that during the year. Damien McKenzie may never start another test. He's become too invaluable at the back end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which is handy. Cam Roygaard, I think, has only just played 15 tests. Oh,
Wow.
That's scary.
That's
How
scary.
good can that guy be? How good can he be? He's the one guy I like to watch him in warm-ups because it's that good. I like the way he releases the ball. It's really cool, just to watch him do his thing. Yeah,
he's got the deliberate Aaron Smith abbreviated arm extension. Yeah. They all let it go. Talk about Australia, Sean.
Ooh.
Well,
we don't have to.
I was trying to think.
We don't have to.
We don't have to.
Do you know what? I was thinking of an analogy, fellas. I was thinking of an analogy that we could maybe all dial into and understand around our beloved Wallabies. And it's like having a partner who offers these amazing glimpses, who brings you flowers, who takes you out to the special restaurants, who works hard on a date night, who makes the bed, who tidies up around the house, but only occasionally. And then everything in and around that is enough to send you around the absolute fucking bend. So the good stuff's in there, but you've got to endure them going out with the boys or girls till 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning repeatedly. You've got to endure them playing golf for as many hours as they can fit into a week. You've got to endure them not rocking up at the in-laws, like all the bad things that are part of a relationship. And you've got to be happy and comfortable with it, because otherwise you just go insane. That's what 2025 has been like. From a personal perspective, I love them. I'll never stop my love of them, and I've had the flowers put on the bed pillow, but also they haven't turned up when I needed to on other occasions, and it's hard.
I can keep going with this, Harry. They don't put the lid on the toothpaste. They leave the garage door open. They won't unpack the dishwasher. It's all the things that we've all been blamed for at some point in our lives, I'm sure.
They didn't put petrol in the car before we went driving out for the big weekend away. It's all that stuff. But still, I love them. I love them so much.
Yeah.
So that's the analogy I've come up with. The good was as good as I've ever seen from any team, and the bad was against Italy in Udine. I mean, they're the peaks and troughs.
Yeah,
it's like they bought you a new car. It's got a little bow on it, and then they throw up in it.
Yeah. After staying at the round bar too long on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday morning, it's all these things.
It's actually really it's an interesting analogy, and I like it a lot because
the worst combination.
And that's what you have to do. It's the dichotomy. There's this old golf teacher that told me play around and hit 2 balls on every single shot, and you'll know what you're capable of. And it's interesting because if you just do that and you keep track of your best, follow through, you'll have an idea. And I think that's the problem. The Wallabies offered so much this year, like at Ellis Park. There were moments we thought, we know you're capable. We see it. What are you doing right now in Italy? What is this?
What are you doing at Chookman?
The company line has been around depth. I think there's also there's some psychological issues there. I mean, you have to be, if you're that good and then you're not, there's something in high performance training and mind belief and whatever you go through that's not happening.
Yeah. The worry, Sean, was that there was only 2 months between Ellis Park and then into Twickenham and Udine. That was the concern.
Well, I think that was part of the reason that they had won back so much goodwill, and they generated so much interest in the game. Again, they had the sellout games at pretty much every rugby championship match here in Australia. Obviously, the Lions was a huge success. Fiji was massive in Newcastle as well. So they had played so well despite losing in most of those games, and then the wheels, they started wobbling, and then they came off completely. And I don't think any of us are talking out of turn. None of us are certainly being disrespectful in any way, shape, or form, because this is by their own admission. They've all copped to it. They've put their hands up. That the summary off the back of their spring tour. So these are their words. They know that they haven't hit where they wanted to be. I went back and had a look at where it all fell apart, and I can tell you guys where the cliff was and where they went over, and it was the loss against the All Blacks in New Zealand, where they got so close. So close, and I mean, we can talk about all the shit in and around it till we're blue in the face, but they lost that game, and then it was a terrible performance in Perth, and then it just went downhill from there, basically, until we got to Dublin, where they were great in that first half, but then we're back on the roller coaster, zipping back down again in the second. So that was it. The juice came out of the tank, and that was kind of that for the year. But man, the good times were so good.
Yeah, and that coincided with New Zealand being really surgical, really clinical in the last 10 minutes of the game. And we've talked about this before, Harry, that in Auckland, Australia had less than 10% of possession in the last 10 minutes. And in Perth, I think it was even less. It was, they just literally, and in New Zealand, in the Eden Park game, the margin was 2, I think, going into the last 10 minutes. And they never touched the ball. So, I think you're right. I think you're spot on. What's there's always hope. You know the game, mate. You know how we play this. There's always hope. What have you seen, even through this back 6 games or so, that makes you think, all right, that's actually something they can use and they can actually build on that in 2026 and going into a home World Cup?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. So, just like I mentioned earlier around New Zealand building sneaky depth with a lot of their players who have gone through supers, I think we're starting to get to that point with the Aussies as well. So, Tom Hooper now, I've got in there with the top Test playing nations as a blindside option, more so than a second rower. Nick Frost, same again, one of the first picked. So then Fraser, Bobby V. So now we're starting to build a really decent nucleus up front. Obviously, Angus Bell as well. Then the back there's 3 or 4 of the backs that all sort of pick themselves and solidify themselves. So when they're all capable in terms of their fitness and the rest of it, and they're all on the field, like we've got the nucleus of a team that can definitely push deep into a World Cup. It's just keeping them on the field for enough time to make that an actuality that's the concern.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, Harry. You look at Nick Frost, McWright, Harry Wilson, Tate McDermott, Max Jorgensen, Lenny Kitau, Joseph Sully, Harry Potter. All those guys currently have, between 20 and 40, or Lenny Kitau's just played his 50 tests. So come 27, they'll be upwards of 50 to 70 tests. So probably hitting a sweet spot there.
There's no problem in the team sheet. Like you look at a team sheet of the Wallabies and you see it matches up fine. I don't think there's too many young players better than Max coming up. Tom's a rocket. Fraser's got to be one of the best open siders in the world. Nick Frost is the premier line-out lock. Angus Bell's young and he's a beast. Ikitau's Joey. It's just ridiculous, right? There's something about the Wallabies, how they played, though, when they got bad, is they didn't use kick space. They made their forwards work far too hard to get to 7 rucks in a row. It's just too much. You cannot say to your forwards, get to 7 rucks in a row again and again and again. So I just think there's a shift there, but to me, the playing caliber is way up there. I suppose to Tony's point, it's just about getting more time on the saddle. Stick with a guy sometimes. Maybe if he doesn't look amazing right off the bat, like Tane Edmed or something, stick in there and see other countries do it. The other thing I would say is on the depth issue, serious concern needs to be had about not just being like the All Blacks and the New Zealand. Just say use some overseas players more deliberately to build depth, not the top level. Don't say, but who would he start in place of? Just who would be in the squad to clean rocks on week 3 against Italy when no one's in a good mood? Bring in your European-based guys who are playing really well at Saints, Josh Kemeny types, Angus Scott Young types. They're just workers, just guys who can clean rocks. Australia's got them. You've got about 30 guys overseas that I think are test caliber.
Well, we need to see more of the Pete Samu's of the world, the Lucan Salakai Lotos of the world. We need just, they've been there this year and we didn't see them very much. But Pete Samu was in at least 3, maybe 4 Wallaby squads this year, and we got 20 minutes out of him.
And you know how good he was for his French club, Bordeaux. He's one of their fan favorites, and he hits rocks. I watched some of those Bordeaux where he plays differently than Samu. He's not a like a seagulling over here. He's hitting rocks.
Yeah.
He's a proper player now.
Good player.
I was surprised at some of the selections, and you've named a bunch of them right there, right now, Brett. Around, you pull these guys back in, you've got them there as part of it. They looked like a turnkey option to me, like a straight turnkey option, and they still weren't afforded a chance to get in there. And obviously, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There might be niggles, or there might be bumps, or we all know how important it is that guys can train a full week with Joe Schmidt before being able to be selected for a Wallabies test match. So we know all that as a background, but from outside in, taking the what's that term, Harry? Occam's razor. It's my favourite term right now. Sometimes the simplest,
the most simple.
The simplest way is often the best. And I think there would have been more wins for us this year, perhaps with some simpler lenses attached to selection that would have led to some better results for the Aussies. But the players are there, and when they click and they do the right thing, they're good. And the one last thing I had, and it's a real case in point, and it was put in a really sharp focus in that last test match against Ireland, where they kicked high and they chased. And then I asked Michael Hooper, in our show on the Monday morning, I can't remember who was, it might have been Cameron Shepherd. I said, if it works so well for them, like we've got Suoli'i, who's probably one of the best chasing. He's probably the biggest back in world rugby apart from Freddie Stewart, right? You've also got Jorgensen, who had leapt and caught almost everything against the Lions. Potter's a big human. If it works so well for Ireland, why did we not do the same thing? And the two of them said it's not in our game plan. Well, maybe we need different game plans for different games, because clearly that game plan works in the Northern Hemisphere. So being able to adapt to that might have been good.
It worked at Ellis Park. That's a good part. Certainly got to use the bench better. I mentioned 2 weeks ago, Harry, when Tom Robertson and Billy Pollard went on the same time against Ireland. That was the only time through the whole spring tour that 2 Australian forwards went on together, not just tight forwards, 2 Australian forwards. So there's got to be a better way to get better bench impact. So that's
I think all that is true. I think every single thing we've now mentioned, but I think on the game plan issue, Shawnee, I always had this question I ask coaches and do 5. It's the question of 5. Which would you least prefer to have happen to you, or which would you prefer to have? And I'm just giving you this, like, 5 regain kicks, 5 scrum penalties, 5 stolen lineouts, 5 line breaks, and the majority consensus is 5 regained kicks is what you want. Because you have fractured line, no one's behind you. You've got 2 guys to be 5 line breaks. Every team gets about 5 line breaks in a team. It's not in a game. That doesn't really change much. 5 scrum penalties, that is pretty good. 5 stolen line, 5 charge downs. But something about regained kicks, when you have Suoli'i regaining a kick, you just can imagine the field being, I'm Tom Wright. I'm just running on his shoulder saying, give it to me. We're going to score.
Max Jorgensen showed it a couple of times this year. A regain kick can be game changing in an instant.
Exactly.
It's a really good point. We just need him to put the cap on the toothpaste again. just
empty the dishwasher.
Yeah. More flowers, more caps on toothpaste.
And when you say you're going to go play golf goes for 4 hours, not 8. All that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Maybe the way I play is the problem then. maybe that's the issue. What about Argentina? I reckon Argentina finished the year as the absolute darlings of international rugby. This was the how can I word this? This was like typically we get this reminder about Argentina at a World Cup. Oh, they're actually really good. But it's come 2 years early. Oh, this is actually a really, really good team. Imagine what they're going to be like now at a World Cup, because they have played some extraordinary good rugby this year.
I think
no
that
doubt.
might be my favourite. I was going to say, I think I'll let you fire away, H Shay, but I'll tee you up and say I think they're probably my second favourite team in world rugby to watch right now.
Yeah, in this analogy, they're like the guy lurking on the fringes saying he's just a friend, but your partner's going out too much to have coffee. That's a very handsome team. Argentina probably feels the best about it, and you can tell that they feel good about it when they're super mad filthy about losing a game against England. And it was almost like they thought they deserved to win it. And that would be the cherry on the top. But then they look at the whole season, they gotta love things. They're very young. There's obviously some players in there like Guido Petty, Montoya, and that have significant cap counts. But there's a lot of them that are 23 to 26.
Yes.
That's
they've got
money.
a lot of 20 cap guys. Yes.
And because they play everywhere and they play in every climate and they play in every situation with whatever style of manager they have, wherever they are, they just seem to be able to travel. And I think that's a huge point in the World Cup 2027. There's nothing about going to Australia that's going to phase any Puma at all. It'll almost view it as a home game in some cases.
Yeah, it's fair. They're in a good spot.
That's a great point, and it's one that I share entirely. That we saw the support base they have here in Australia throughout the Rugby Championship, enormous. So they were rocking in Sydney at the SFS when they had that matchup. It was rocking in Townsville. This outrage spot in far north Queensland where you would expect no Argentinian fans. There was Los Pumas fans everywhere, and then when they're cheering, when you run through them, so Chocobares, gun. Cinti, gun, Delgi, Isgro, Carreras, 1, Carreras 2. They are awesome. Juan Cruz Malia when he comes back from his knee injury. I mean, Albornoz is amazing.
Albornoz,
the number
fantastic
10.
Gonzalez, the back rower.
Yeah, mate, they are unbelievable. So, and the pace of which they play, and the other thing I love about them, and I'm sure both you will agree, that they know how to win test matches because they take their shots at goal when they're on offer, and then they score tries, lots of them.
At any point in commentary this year, mate, when Michael Hooper is talking about taking shots at goal, do you just turn around and want to slap him in the back of the head?
No, I love that guy. No, definitely not. But there are times where, I mean, Justin Harrison is just straight 3 all day, every day. Timmy Horan is a bit more open to plugging the line, and I think Hoops might be coming back towards Goog's way of thinking a little bit more as well, because there have been times this year, and we all know it, where you're kind of going, oh, maybe we probably should be taking a shot at goal. I'm not talking about taking draws in Townsville, but for the duration of other matches where you're like, oh, fellas, we've got a man in the bin right now. Maybe we wipe off 90 seconds and just take a shot because we could probably hit that one. So that's why I love Argentina, because they know how to win test matches at the moment. They do it in style, and I reckon a bit can be learned.
I've also got such a young coach, standing next to him, Contepomi at Twickenham, and just looking at the guy. He looks ready to play. I swear he can just go out there and play right now. They have everything going up. The stock of Argentina is a good buy, Brett. I think it's one of those ones you think they're probably a semi-finalist again.
Yeah, fair, and they're just so handsome.
He says wistfully.
Let's talk. We're a week on from the Nations Championship now. Harry, you said a week ago we'll think of something that we don't like in 3 months' time. Have we had any precursors to it yet? I'll tell you what I don't like already, and I reckon it didn't even take a week. It took maybe 2 days. Ireland suddenly said to Japan, "Nah, you're going to need to play us in Australia because we're not traveling there." And the Southern Hemisphere went, "What do you mean you're not traveling? Like, this whole thing is about travel."
Yeah, can I add to that? Sorry, just quickly. Can I add to that? Fiji are also taking their games north, which really shits me.
Argentina will take some as well.
I hate that. I wish they could have had some rev share option of bringing games to Australia so that we could tap into that fanatical Fijian fan base, and I reckon they would have been so much harder to beat down here. Like you guys saw it in Newcastle. Fijian
Yeah.
fans are the best
Yeah.
alongside the Argentinian fans. So I'm sure there's financial reasons, but surely there could have been another way of keeping them in the southern hemisphere than them having to go up there for their matches. Because I'm certain that's what's happening, isn't it?
Yes. They'll take the check, and there's infrastructure concerns, I think, as well around the ground there in Suva, and you know well what that's like. But when the day comes when they can actually start playing the likes of England and Ireland and France in Fiji, they will be unstoppable. That will be the most home ground advantage you can possibly think of.
And how good would that be to watch, Irish and Scottish players just like overheat in Fiji?
Yeah.
It would just melt into that pitch. I watch those games. Anytime there's a game in Fiji, I watch it just for the ambiance, the crowd, the scenes, the slide through, 3 feet of water. This is great.
Yes.
It's almost like when you watch, golfers having a bad day or something. It's just fun. It makes you feel good about yourself. You go playing in Fiji, even the best players go there just look ordinary.
I remember doing that. Yeah.
Mhm.
It'd be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, it certainly didn't take long before the travel demands started. So that'll.
All the guys who are planning our games say that you have to. We're always going to watch. The three of us going to watch any rugby game that involves nations, and we like it. But the casual fan, which is always what they're targeting, you have to have some tournament. You have to have a context. Otherwise, it just seems like.
Yeah.
So what are they playing for? Bragging rights, 140 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing.
It's the July friendlies. Yeah. The fact that the July and November test will mean something now. Like we got to the end of November and I was like, so who won? Like who won this series of games? Like, yeah, we having a definitive championship, definitive structure around the July and November test is still going to be far, far, far better than what we've had.
And for TV money, because you can block buy it, you can offer broadcasters a certain thing, and so they're always going to possibly overspend more. I think it all makes sense, but like you say, the devil's in the details. There will be something we haven't thought of. You build the house, and the door opens the wrong way, and you walk in, you go, "What was I thinking?"
Yeah. That's very true. We're recording Wednesday morning Australian time. The Rugby World Cup draw happens in Sydney Wednesday night. This is live pictures of getting ready for it. Kent Brockman take us there. That little beauty of a meme is courtesy of Steve Lenthal. What are we looking for? I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to work. My understanding, Sean, is that they'll draw from band 4 to start with, and then they'll go work their way up. So these are the actual pools here now. So the bands are known. The top 6 are obviously in band 1. The next 6, which includes Australia, Fiji, Scotland, in band 2, and then down in band 3, you get Georgia and Uruguay are down there. Tonga's in there. Band 4 has Samoa, Romania, and then Hong Kong have never qualified before. Zimbabwe have never qualified before. So there's going to be some interesting scenarios there. I love that this was just pointed out to me. I think I saw this last night on socials. It's entirely possible we could get a pool that has New Zealand, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa.
Oh, that's got some good Pacific feel to it, don't it? Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
So there is an explainer for those that I'm not sure if they get the jump on it before they actually pull it out, but we've done a really good job of putting together an explainer around how those teams fall. But it would look like we've got a somewhat of a blockbuster, won't we, between the Wallabies and another big name likely in that opening weekend.
Yes. So all that we know about the draw right now is that Australia are in Pool A and they will play the first game. So that's quite likely
in Perth, right? We're off
in
to
Perth. That's it.
We're off to Optus for that first one. That's right.
That's it. What's the worst case scenario, Harry? Out of a pool draw, what would South Africa not want in their pool?
Oh, I don't know if we care one way or the other. Sorry. Scotland has never offered much opposition in the World Cup. Wallabies always got a better shot than Scotland at us. I don't think it matters that much if you lose a game in the pool. You can still go through.
No. Yeah. With the round of 16, that's probably right. Yeah.
So it's just probably the right style and so forth. I think it's more on the side of the Wallabies to consider, like, who would they not want? I think there's a big difference in the top 6 in the first band. A big difference.
Yeah.
I could see the Wallabies topping Pool A if they had the right one that gets falls. So I couldn't see the graphic; it's too small for my phone. Who were the top 6 in the band?
Top 6 are South Africa, New Zealand, England, Ireland, France, Argentina. So they will all be in different pools.
So Argentina attracts me there. So if a pool A was Argentina, Australia, suddenly you're thinking Wallabies might have designs on finishing first in the pool. Yeah.
I wonder where the pool of depth. I wonder where the pool of death is going to come from. Shawnee, it's going to be
So we're 6 pools of 4, correct?
Yeah,
6 pools of 4.
Correct.
Do you know what? The other thing as well is you cannot read anything into what gets drawn out, what gets generated tonight, because 2 years from now, my God, and even when you get to the damn tournament, none of it means anything, because we saw that in 2023. Like, it means nothing. Because Ireland were strong favourites against the All Blacks and then get beat. France get bounced, and everyone had them winning the whole damn thing. Like, it all goes out the window when you're in the tournament. And 2 years out, I mean, think about how much is going to change between now and 2 years' time.
Yeah. The top 6 could be, the rankings will be all over the place in 2 years' time.
Correct.
So it's a fair point. I'm just looking forward to the fact that Australia and Fiji and Wales can't be in the same pool. They can't all be in the same pool, as has been the case for the last 3 World Cups, I reckon.
At least,
maybe more.
Yeah, at least.
It's just like it was like they were a package set there for a while. They just came.
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all good. Well, mate, this has been great. It's been great to catch up. It's been great to have you on several times through the year. We thank you for it. It's been great to end the show with your dulcet tones every week. I hope it all goes well for you over there in Cape Town on the circuit, and then you can finally wind down for Christmas properly, mate.
Any suggestions, hey Shay, as to where I get to in Cape Town?
Go eat at Fine, FYN.
Okay, I can
go eat there. You will thank me forever.
Okay, I can certainly manage
That's
that.
it.
No, I'm looking forward to it, mate. It'll be a great tournament again, Cape Town. They've been rocking it out here the last couple of years, and hopefully we can finish the year with a bit of green and gold action, or a bit of gold and green action, and getting a title. Give us a little something to get us to our Christmas hams.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Cool.
This is the 8-9 combo with Brett McKay and Harry Jones. Mate, great to have Sean Maloney back on the pod for one last time in 2025. I think he's enjoying himself on the 7th Circuit.
Yeah, actually, we're almost going to cross paths. We'll be in Cape Town next week for the La Rochelle match. Actually, it's going to be in PE, but we're gonna actually join up with the team and go out there with them on next Friday. But Shawnee will have fun. Shawnee also just gave us one of the all-time best metaphors around the Wallabies as the strangely imperfect partner that you still love, but you kind of hate at times, and just irritates the hell out of you. So great time always to chat with him. I always like Shawnee because he brings his own views. He's not one of those guys who just repeats something he read yesterday from someone else. Yeah. You always get pure raw Shawnee.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. Like he's seen it he's seen it all this year. He's called all the home games. He's called a lot of the away games as well. So good insights as always. What do we got now? Well, there's no more games of the week. The Premiership and the ERC and the top 14 are all back in action, but I haven't looked at them yet. Check local guides to work out what's good this weekend. That's the best I can offer. I think I'm actually going to have a rugby-free weekend.
There you go. I'm obviously very into the Stormers right now, who are only giving up 10 points per game. 10 points conceded in a very high-scoring ERC is a lot. To gather. Next one, I think, is Glasgow giving up 14.5, and the Bulls conceding 31.7 points a match. That won't win you many games.
No, not unless you can score 40 yourself.
Puts a lot of onus on the attack. Yes,
it does.
I'm glad you're giving yourself a little bit of time off, and been wonderful chatting with you again. And Shawnee,
you know what's coming up this week? We have a pink ball Ashes test.
There you go.
Starts here in Brisbane on Thursday. That actually looks quite orange.
It looks orange.
It's definitely pink.
Yeah,
it's definitely pink. No, looking forward to that. Anything else that we need to add?
That is it.
Done. I think we're done.
Another
great episode of the 8-9 Combo behind us. Our sincere thanks to Sean Maloney for joining us. Let us know what you think. Let us know how we've wrapped up the SANZAAR Nations this year. Offer your thoughts with Harry and I on the socials, the 8-9 Combo on the socials. Have your say here on the YouTube channel, just down there in the comments as well. We'd love to hear from you either way, whatever you think. This is the 8-9 Combo, the short side set piece combination you didn't realize you needed in a rugby podcast. Sean Maloney is back for the closer. I'm Brett McKay. He's Harry Jones, and we will be back in your ears to wrap up 2025 next week.
Come play with me. I mean, us.
Here goes Jones with another bruising run. He links up with McKay, who pops back to Jones. They can't. They won't. They will. What a try. The Dream Team Combo go in again.